It's time for Blasting Turbo Reports, our video game-centric Screenblast podcast. As I have been before, I'm joined with Martin.
Yeah.
And Dante.
Yo.
From Twilight Drago. Before I ask what have we been playing, I gotta say, I've been playing a lot of Persona 3. I've clocked at 12 hours. I bought it on Friday. I've clocked already up to 12 hours so far. Those are rookie numbers in Persona. But for as long as it's been out, that's as much as I can get into so far. I will say, you said way back, Dante, that Persona 3 Portable is the gold standard of Persona 3.
So,
but Fez is in fact the gold standard. Do you know why? Because you can actually walk through the hallways and the classroom. When I saw that you lose that completely, now I'm fine with it now, but I was like, what the fuck is this? Oh, this is actually just the PSP game. Okay.
Yeah, it's literally just...
and again, I'm up for learning about this new character story that I'll get to play once I'm done with the original, but fuck me, man. I was like, damn. Like, because I love walking through, like, and you also lose a couple of things where you're going through, the mall. You can't walk through the mall. You can't walk through the strip mall. You can't walk through the school at all. And again, like, understood for what it's going for. It's a port of a PSP game that was originally released on the PS2, so they had to build it on for the PS2, compress it for the PSP, add another story in, and now we're getting the re-release of that. But to me, it's like, fuck, why? I guess it would have taken too much money to invest to put the contents and the walking ability of 3 Fez into this concept.
Okay, so I have a few things to say about that. One, I'm getting a phone call, so I'm going to ignore that and call him back later. One, FES is definitely my favorite version. The only thing that Portable does better is that you can control your other teammates, but I don't give a fuck about that, because I usually just stop everything anyway.
Exactly.
2, there is a hack for the computer that I've been playing. I've been playing that for a while now, that adds a bunch of new stuff, and it adds the ability to control your characters, which is the main thing people like for Portable, and it adds a bunch of other bosses and other shit like that. So I've been playing that
instead of going back to the console variant.
I still bought it.
What did you buy it on?
I bought it on both PC and PlayStation.
And PlayStation, okay.
I only bought 4 Golden for PC because I still had it on Vita.
Yeah. And you 4 is still the gold standard for you, not...
4 is my least favorite.
No, least favorite. That's right. 3 is your favorite. I'm talking to...
4 is my least favorite.
What the fuck was I talking about that said 4 was their favorite? I was talking to someone else. Yeah. But it's good to be back in that game.
Yeah, fucking love that game. I love that game so much.
Yeah, but what have you been playing so recently?
Okay.
Same thing or different?
No. So, I've been playing a game called DioField Chronicles. It's like it's the closest thing I can compare it to. I can compare it to 2 things, being Fire Emblem and Final Fantasy Tactics, because it's like a strategy-based game. I've been playing that for like the past 4 days, and I'm almost done. So
short?
Yeah, it's relatively short. I think it's only like 6 chapters. Like the game
is like Mercenary Sagas?
Kind of, sort of. Like, it's pretty fun. What I recommend it, though, is the question. If you don't like games like Fire Emblem or Final Fantasy Tactics, that one in particular, if you don't like that,
those games could run on someone's nerves really quickly. It's a very slow type of RPG.
Yeah, where your movement extremely matters, and certain people's placement also matters, and shit like that. People's fit specific.
A lot of times you start on one side of the field, the enemy start on that side of the field. Before you'll go through several turns before you actually collide.
At least with this one, it's in real time, so time will pass, and you can just move your characters, and they'll move as well. Okay. So it's not really as turn-based as the other one. It's just that it's relatively slow. So slow, in fact, that they have a slider so you can speed it up a little bit faster.
That's a feature that a lot of those games should have. Yeah. Because if Fire Emblem had a system where you can just walk around with your characters, because like. What I want them to do in a Fire Emblem game is to make it so that you get each of the characters have like a 5-second timer, and within that 5-second timer you can move as far as close as you want to your next attack. Then from there you can attack or do whatever you need. Yes, instead of just moving a grid base, depending on your class. like certain classes can only like if you're like I think it's like a pirate or a barbarian or a knight.
You talking about the one on the horse, the cavalier?
Yeah, no, the cavaliers move pretty far, and the Pegasus Knights move the furthest. I think.
Yes, sir.
The Pegasus Knights have the farthest movement, but I don't think they're that strong. Like not strong as an attack, as in like they can't take it. They can't take a hit.
Right.
Like, because I guess they're flying. That means that archers do more damage to them or something.
Interesting.
But yeah, I would want them to take that concept and help and make it so that you can move. But you can finish talking. I apologize.
Oh no!
Dude, this is a
what you talking about? It's a conversation.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the podcast. Apparently, he's sorry. Good night, everyone.
No, but because I love games like that, and I needed to scratch an itch for a game like that, so I literally walked to like 3 different GameStops to try to find it.
Triangle Strategy?
I own that. I also own Live Alive, the game that was a remaster.
Live Alive? Oh, yeah. I need to get that.
Games.
I absolutely need to get that one.
But for some reason, I can't bring myself to play it because it's on the Switch, and the Switch is the console that I can't do it.
You have a Switch, right?
Yes.
You don't like the Switch?
I can't do it.
I mean, there's like Live Alive and all those pixel games from Octopath Traveler to.
Oh, I love those games.
They're perfect for the Switch.
The games aren't the problem. It's the Switch. I can't. Like, it's a portable and a home console. In my head, it's not a portable console, so I keep it home. But when I'm home, I'm like, I don't feel like playing this. I'll just play the PS5 because it's sitting right there.
Yeah, but there are games. There are a shit ton of RPGs in the on the eShop and the Switch. Yeah, I can go through a list of them because I have nothing but JRPGs.
Yeah, that's what I mostly have as well. It's just that I can't keep. Like, I don't know what it is. My brain just isn't wired that the Switch is also a portable console.
Like, you just can't take it with you, or at least you don't feel like taking it with you. So it becomes that home console, and the issue is when it's competing as a home console, you've got the PS5
I think right now it's actually
that's very hard to compete with.
Unless you have a PS4, because PS5 don't have that many JRPGs on it just yet.
Just yet? No, but you have you still have all the PS4 library, except like a few games that weren't able to come over, like the
I guess, but if I've already played them on PS4, bring them over to the PS5 isn't going to make me play them again because, like I said, aesthetically.
Well, I'm saying this is usually a new experience, though, right? I mean, if you're playing buying something from a 4 to play on 5, usually it's.
Oh, did you mean like that?
He's playing it fresh?
Yeah, like brand new. Fresh.
Okay.
Most of the older JRPGs I've played, I've only played them like twice because most of them have like multiple endings, and I'll just get like 2 of them, and I'll be like, I'm complete.
You better only go for the best ending, and that is it.
Because Live Alive, you basically have to go through all the character stories. So
that's different. They different time periods and different stories all together. So you have to go through them, and not all of them are RPGs.
Right.
Like some of them are just a straight up stealth mission.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's no real fighting in it. Like you can go through that entirely without the fights. Like I didn't get to the ending yet, but I won't spoil it too much for people. Why? Because it's still relatively new. So I'm not gonna say everything about it. But and also the grid-based battle is kind of different in that one. Whereas if you are so the grid is flat and it's not like a Fire Emblem or a Mercenary where there are layers upon, like you can be higher than him or he can be higher than you or lower, so it's different types of advantages when you move like that. Right. This is a grade base, and depending on where you're standing, you can fire an attack from across the board because as long as they're within that wave of attack, so like
the range of your character.
So if a martial artist has like a sweeping attack, like. It's going to be like a sweeping motion, like
a wave that stretches across.
You know how your window clean? It look like that shape. So with long as they're within that attack, you'll be able to attack them. The enemies also have that to a degree, but relatively, much as I played, it's pretty easy.
Okay.
Like to defeat your enemies because your attacks get ridiculous on that game.
Makes sense.
But
now, Martin.
Yes.
What have you been playing, man?
Oh, you know already. The game I have been playing lately is Forspoken.
I've heard.
It's Square Enix. I had to give it a try. I know people. I typically love the JRPGs that comes out of Square Enix. So Final Fantasy, the new One Piece Odyssey that just came out, which is another game I'm playing back and forth with. Forspoken, which is also a phenomenal game. like, I know there's been a lot of negativity about Forspoken, especially the dialogue and the characters themselves. Like, people hate them, like, because they won't shut the fuck up. But but honestly, that's not really a big deal to me. Like, I don't really care about the little small dialogue moments. You don't even have to listen to them if you don't want to. Honestly, you could just turn it off, because there's an ability in the game, the settings, that you could just turn it off and you don't have to listen to it. But they're like, as much as the girl herself there's people been saying she's an asshole, ain't nothing compared to Cuff. Like, there's some shit in this that's just like, yo, you need to shut the fuck up real quick. Because the whole thing with this one part, like I said, a guy named Auden, and he has, like, he was in the Blight area, and so his mind is half gone. So he's basically like not schizophrenic, dementia or Alzheimer's, something like that.
Absolutely.
Even though he doesn't really have it, it's because of the fifth sickness. He's like that, and Cuff just keep making these underhanded remarks, like, oh, he's short of 3 marbles, huh? He's one Charfield's 3 marbles, and she's just like, yo, dude, this isn't cool. And she keeps saying, like, stop. But the good thing is no one else can hear him. It's only her. So she hears the bullshit that he was saying. And there are times when they're all both cool with each other, but there's just sometimes when he says stuff and I'm like, yeah. And there are dialogue loops that get repeated over and over again. If I have to hear him ask me why I want to get back to Newark again, I'm going to turn him off.
But overall, just gotta probably turn off that dialogue after the first couple of minutes.
Yeah, but like I said, it doesn't bother me too much.
How about the gameplay itself?
The gameplay is fine. I don't typically like third-person shooter like RPGs. Like, I can play Mass Effect, but I get bored of it fast because it's a third-person shooter. I can play Horizon again. Third person shooter mechanics.
Yeah,
and this does the same thing with like the Met when you first start off. Like, what?
I'm sorry, I'm not laughing at you. It was something I saw on Twitter. I'm so sorry.
I thought you were ready to jump in.
No, like, cause
this man's speaking about Horizon. Let me defend.
No, I was not.
No, Horizon's a great game. I do not.
No, but like we're talking about at work, like that same sort of mechanic.
Where you just
same gameplay.
Aim, fire. Like, I know
the evolution of it.
Yeah, and I know that a lot of the RPGs in the West, like Western RPGs, have that sort of
style.
Yeah. So like say Mass Effect, Horizon, and also
almost everything Sony does at this point.
Is it all Sony? Horizon's? Oh. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A lot of pretty much all the big Sony hitters do the same sort of gameplay element.
You don't mind if I step in real quick to talk about this? So you brought up the Forspoken dialogue earlier, and I think that's just like, as of lately, like most video game characters of that ilk, kind of to bounce off of what the last podcast about, like animation. Most characters as of recently, dialogue has been shit. Cause like,
it's very weird.
That's why I didn't like Forspoken. That's why I didn't like High on Life. That's why a lot of these games I didn't like, because the dialogue was just straight shit. Like, either A, they talk too much, like High on Life. B, the dialogue feels like a hello fellow kids type beat, Forspoken. Yeah. And I'm just like, has nobody realized that no one fucking talks like this? Like,
they're trying to push too hard.
Yeah, and I'm like, to a point it can work, like with what was the indie game that just came out recently? Shit. It was like a fucking music. It's like a.
What is that?
What?
Fuck.
What's it about? What did it do?
Was that the game that was on the Bethesda Xbox?
I don't think so. No? It's basically like a rhythm game. Like it's like a fucking
Hellsinger
action game. No, hold on, 1 second. I gotta find the name of this fucking game, because the game itself is really fun.
First person?
It just has rhythm. No, it's like a platformer to a point. Hold on, I can find out. 1 second.
I'm gonna just start naming musical things. Songbird.
Hi-Fi Rush.
Yeah, so even Mark was recommending that a couple days ago, and
that game is amazing.
Yeah, that's all I've been hearing. Is it's a great game.
But it's not also just like dialogue, because the thing that separates Hi-Fi Rush And Forspoken, in my opinion, Hi-Fi Rush has a cartoony style. So the dialogue being cartoony and goofy makes extreme sense.
Right.
Forspoken has a serious tone to it. Nigga, the game opens up with her fucking at court for a sentence. Then she gets beaten up in an alley for stealing money. Then her fucking house burns down. No goofy shit has been done in the first few minutes of this game. Even at the latter points, the game isn't goofy, so the dialogue doesn't fit.
Right.
At least with Hi-Fi Rush, a dude got an iPod and planted into his chest.
Right.
So it affects his robot arm.
I got to defend it to a certain degree. There's not much to the goofy dialogue in Forspoken, for as much as I've seen. Because I haven't gotten my second major ability yet. Mm-hmm. I'm really just exploring the open world, which is extremely fun to parkour around and jump up into cliffs and flipping off, jumping off, running away from enemies.
Yeah,
this is all really, really fun. And it's not really more dialogue. It's more just like bickering siblings. Like you don't hate each other, but at the same time you gotta be with each other.
Yeah.
So you just that small bickering with the small talk with that kind of nonsense. It like I said, it can wear on the nerves. But at some point you just tune it out. Like at some point I just like, oh, I don't care. Unless it's important dialogue, I'm not really listening. I'm playing the game. Especially after the first. After you get out of the first city and get into the open world, you can go do what you want. And like I said, in all the cases, you can always turn it off. Should I keep that or just move to the other game I'm playing?
Go for the other game.
The other game I'm playing is One Piece Odyssey, which is, oh man, this it's really, really good. It's really fun. It's basically Dragon Quest. That's what basically it is. It's like if you played any Dragon Quest games, that's basically what it is. It is a lot easier. I'm not gonna lie. There's been I'm good 25 hours in and I haven't died once. Like even on the hardest difficulty, it's not a difficult game at all. Especially if you learn the whole rock paper scissors gameplay. You know what I'm saying? Like
that format, yeah.
Yeah, that format. So, and what I do like about it is that when you get into a fight, your characters are split off like into different groups of battle. So it's like it's not just you 4 battles, and y'all just facing those enemies. No, you over there, you could be facing 2 enemies. He's over there, he could be facing 4 enemies, and the other 2 are over there, and they face another 4 enemies. And you have to clear out the enemies in your area before you can go over there and help
assist.
Yeah,
right.
Or you can use special ability to jump out of the way, just in case it happens that one of the characters you're fighting in the area are weak against this particular group. Yeah. So you can switch in, jump in, and go ahead and finish that out and then jump back into your battle. Okay. Which is always a good setup.
Absolutely. Would you recommend it?
One Piece Odyssey? I would definitely recommend One Piece Odyssey. It does, for the One Piece fans, it does start in Alabasta again. Just like, I know Alabasta is really, really famous locale in One Piece. Like, if you... Alabasta, like fighting Crocodile and fighting. I think he's second only to Don Flamingo in the popularity of villains. And I know that a lot of the games always end up all the One Piece games I play, a lot of you do end up going to Alabasta, which could wear on the nerves. It's like people with setting, yeah. It's like people with Green Hill, yeah, in Sonic, like. They're always going to end up going to Alabasta, and you spend the first part there, and it's different because you don't usually in JRPGs you don't usually go to the desert first. Mm-hmm. Desert is a lot later in the game, but you're here first. It's not difficult, but it is just desert.
Gotcha.
So once you get past the desert, it'll get into you. You'll get more into the other one. I'm not going to spoil because again this is as new as Forspoken, right? So I'm not going to go too deep into the thing, but yes, if you are a fan of Dragon Quest and if you're a fan of One Piece, go ahead and get One Piece Odyssey. It is a great game.
Cool beans. I'm going to go ahead and move on to the briefing here. Now, a couple things here. If you guys were fans of Naughty Dog and what they did with Uncharted, they're not doing it anymore. Neil Druckmann, clearly one of the key guys at Naughty Dog, sort of gave us a quote perspective on what they want to do. The quote here, just going to run it by you. Uncharted 4 was one of our best-selling games, and we're able to put our final brushstroke on that story and say we're done. We're moving on. Not only that, but Lost Legacy, he mentioned, was going to be something that that was it. This was really the end of the line for them, and I just want to, let's see, the issue that I have here is, obviously, Sony seems to be going in a couple different directions, but the main thing is they go for that same third-person, not walking, but third-person adventure action sort of format. Uncharted, I would be definitely interested in another one, and I think it would definitely be better than them going for Last of Us 3 after what they did with Last of Us 2.
That's the thing, too, since they chose the franchise that doesn't have as much stuff to offer as Uncharted could have.
Yeah.
So I thought that choice was really fucking weird, but I guess I understand, since the series just came out, and, you want to capitalize on that popularity and the familiarity of Last of Us, since it's on people's minds right now because of the show.
Right. Yeah.
Huh?
No.
So no. I think I kind of get where they're coming from, because over the Uncharted series, he's getting older and older.
Yeah.
I mean, at some point, he's going to be an old man. I mean, by the fifth game, how old is he? If they made a fifth game, how old is he in the fourth game?
I don't know. He's either way. That's the whole point. Is the Thief's End? That was the whole point of Uncharted 4, anyway.
So, making a new one would what? Put a whole new character in?
Yeah, I mean, I would think they would go in that direction if they were going with Uncharted there.
It was somebody who
related or a friend or something.
Nathan Drake,
possibly,
and it just following footsteps.
It's not impossible for them to do it, but it seems like they're definitely separating there from Uncharted as a whole. I don't know what studio they would get to do an Uncharted if they were to do it, but it's weird because Uncharted is relevant enough, because with gaming, it's weird because with gaming you usually don't see companies just completely drop out of completely doing. Now, again, Naughty Dog is a developer within Sony, so if they had a developer that could do another Uncharted game, that's definitely possible. But usually, the last time they did that with the PS Vita game, it didn't turn out as well. Golden Abyss, I think, it didn't turn out as well. But we'll see how this goes. Additionally, this is another edition of Naughty Dog dropping another franchise. So after the fourth game, Jak X Racing, they dropped Jak and Daxter. After Crash Team Racing, they were done with Crash Bandicoot, and after, of course, now here, Uncharted 4, here they are. So moving on. E3 looks like it's completely dead in terms of the purposes of what we watch it for. Their Nintendo, Xbox, and PlayStation are no longer going to be there. And look, this is it's still going to be apparently slightly relevant. There's still going to be game developers there and publishers there. But what I will always remember is that E3 2013 with PlayStation going up and saying, we aren't going to have a 24-hour check-in. We're not going to have online always requirement. We're not going to do any of that shit. And our system's $100 less. That's where the back and forth between Xbox and PlayStation and sometimes Nintendo was always the big shit with E3. And those presentations going back to back was always the big deal. It just kind of sucks. Obviously, time's moving on. They can do directs and events and showcases whenever they want. So E3's value is pretty much, dead.
Yeah, we could have saw that one coming from the past few years, because I think PlayStation has been absent for the past few years anyway.
Absolutely.
They've already
before COVID.
Yeah, they've already laid that claim that they weren't doing that shit anymore anyway. So it makes sense that everybody else is pulling out. We've been getting we've been getting a few more Nintendo Directs as of late. We don't know what the fuck Xbox is cooking, so
anything.
Yeah. So yeah. I'm not too surprised by that.
Yeah, me either. That's to say, like you said, Direct, State of Play, whatever the Microsoft showcases are called.
But yeah, no, that's the thing. It's anything at this point. And even EA can drop. They drop their.
But the only thing is,
at any time,
beyond just the Nintendo aside, don't Sony and Microsoft have different developers that's not as specifically Sony. You know what I'm saying? Like they have games who like you said, they'll still
extended developers that aren't specifically in their wheelhouse. Yeah,
yeah. I mean, you think they want to back them up by being there, like, and just a little like, hey, we're here. We got these guys back, and just with their future projects. Yes, we're excited about this too.
Yeah,
like. But what are you gonna do? Like Nintendo by itself,
they can do whatever at
because
any time.
all of their things are in house, right?
They're just very specifically Nintendo. If you're looking for a Nintendo Direct, I mean, most of the time it's something that's within their IP.
Yeah. So.
And again, like you said, when it's another developer, like you had, one of the big things for Xbox in the 360 era was the Call of Duty early access to DLC before any other platform would have it. Then PlayStation, that was big with Destiny.
Yep.
For the PS4, I don't know if developers even will push the money out to do or have something at E3. Gamescom is still a big thing.
Yeah.
Tokyo Game Show is still a big thing, but E3 is not really that big anymore. So, yeah. Just another small thing here. Small because Halo is basically irrelevant.
Yeah, that just sucks.
343, not only after... So Microsoft announced a couple months back that they, or around about a year ago now, that they were subtracting or cutting jobs, of course, a large number of jobs. Some of those jobs came from 343 Industries, which obviously is involved in Halo. And what we're learning now is some critical things about the fact that they just haven't even been working on story mode at all over the past year. Even though they've claimed that they were working on story mode and things like that over the past couple of years, since it came out, I think that was late 2020, in fact, they have not been working on that. So it is an absolute just SHITSHWO shit show. I don't know why I spelled that out, but it is a shit show. So Jason Schreier from Bloomberg reported that, they're basically going to have to reboot Halo again. And this was supposed to be the reboot. That's what's crazy about this. This is the weird thing with Xbox is they have all these studios, but they are really just not doing anything to move the needle at all with them. I love what they're doing with Game Pass, and I love Back Compat, and I love that they have Bethesda and all of this. But what are you really doing? Yeah. What is the energy like there? Because this doesn't make sense. No one's really excited for Forza Motorsport. The last Horizon wasn't great. They're just things that just...
Fable?
Where is Fable? Right.
I wouldn't say it wasn't great. I just say they did the same thing as the first one, the curse of coming out with right next to a bigger name title.
What are you talking about?
Horizon.
Forza Horizon?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, well, the last one was just the same as the last one, but slightly different. They didn't do much at all between those two, and I guess we shouldn't expect to move the needle significantly on Horizon, but the thing with Horizon was that it was such a big thing when it first came out, way back on the 360, and 2 was a jump from 1, and 3 was solid enough to differentiate itself from 2, and here we are with these last few where it's just kind of, it's been stale. And it's not that it's just stale, and that's it.
Well, what do you expect them to do? It's basically just cars.
Yeah, no, there's not a lot you can do with just cars, but that's the key thing is you could just keep supporting you could have kept supporting 3 for a few more years, 4 for a few more years, instead of just they kept doing this thing where it's every other year or every 2 to 3 years they would keep putting a Horizon in. You don't need to do that. You could just keep working with those platforms and, have one for 360, have one for Xbox One, and have one for the Series line.
But the thing I feel like has been Microsoft's problem for a while. I've been to their side when it was they're acquiring studios so they can have more games, which was the main problem that people had. Yeah. Was that Xbox didn't have new games. But they acquired studios, but now they're not doing anything with them. So
basically, it seems like they're acquiring studios just to acquire the studios.
Yeah. Have the rights to them.
They're Thanos with the stones. He got them bitches, but for the first few times we saw them, they go, well, what are you going to do? We need you to do something. Yeah. So you've acquired all these studios. Don't do what you did with Rare and just hold the motherfuckers for a long ass time and not do anything with them.
Yeah. And we're seeing that. What's sad is we're seeing that across the board. There are a lot of major Chinese companies that are doing that with game companies that are just interested in money. I understand. If someone said, "Hey, we want to buy the Screenblast podcast for like $2 billion," I'd say, "Well, okay."
With my cut.
I'm no problem. And it's a Chinese country.
10%.
Right? Yeah, no, exactly. But like,
I was here too.
Right? But like, that's the weird thing about like everything's getting acquired.
Yeah.
EA's doing it. Xbox is doing it. Xbox is trying to do it with Call of Duty with Activision, with Blizzard Activision right now. So
that's the funny thing about that situation too, because like Sony's so pissed off that they don't want them to do it, but it's so funny because Sony has been doing it for fucking forever.
It's nuts. I don't know what. Like, it's so stupid. So they bought what the fuck is the Destiny?
Oh, they bought Bungie.
They bought Bungie. Like, dude. Like, there you go. All right. Topic of the day, ladies and gentlemen. So Sucker Punch, PlayStation developer. We were talking about PlayStation. Sucker Punch is now 25, going on 26, in fact. They have quite a legacy with PlayStation. They have the Sly franchise. They have the infamous 1 and 2, along with infamous Second Son. And they also have the very legendary Ghost of Tsushima. The Assassin's Creed we never got, and they did even better than Assassin's Creed could ever do with that concept. So the question here is, what should they do next? Because here we have and we have this across the board with a lot of PlayStation developers, where a lot of their older games are just stuck on PS3 and PS2, and they have not brought them up. Sony has not asked them to bring them up. They're not working on things from the past. There's no remaster or remake. And then there's the option of doing a sequel. So the question here is, would you rather Sucker Punch just do a remake of a game from the past, or would you rather them make a sequel to a game that they made in the past? And, I'll throw it to Martin.
Sorry?
I did all that lead up.
It was great. I
did all that fucking lead up for you to say, I'm sorry.
So anyway,
no, it's all good.
Sly Cooper. Definitely Sly Cooper. They should make a sequel to Sly 3.
Sly 4 was made, but they just didn't. They weren't the ones doing it.
No. But it left on a cliffhanger. So I would love for them to either bring that to the current systems, or just they can even start that over. Honestly,
like a complete reboot of.
Yeah, they can start it. It's a solid concept.
Yeah,
like a
thievius raccoon.
I was about to say that thievius raccoon.
I was like, no, you got it.
I was about to say that. I didn't want to sound like a nerd.
If this was Wheel of Fortune, you would have lost. I would have just taken all that money.
That was thievius raccoon. Yes, that is a solid thing. Just a thief. All you would just have to put it. You can modernize it. Like I wouldn't even mind if they moved it to add a few extra levels. In different locales.
So you've just answered both of the questions. You wanted a sequel, and you want a remake. If you were tasked with Sucker Punch, and they said we can only do one thing, we don't have the resources to do two things. We can't make a Sly 5, and we can't make a Sly remake. What would you do? Because I'm with you on both. What would you do? Okay,
then I would go with the remake.
I see. Start the franchise over.
Yeah, start the franchise over. Because a lot of people aren't going to want to go back to. Well, we would, but a lot of people in this day and age wouldn't want to go back to playing the older games.
Yeah.
So, especially not Sly Cooper.
Yeah, kids these days don't even know there was a PlayStation 2. They just know 3 and above.
Because the first Sly Cooper plays way different to the second, third, and fourth one.
Yes.
And I don't think a lot of people want to stick with that one. So I think they would just remake it, make him a thief, make him more like Sly 2, make the first game more like Sly 2, and then move on from there. Like I said, they can even start new locations. The characters can all be the same, have similar. You can even have the what's his name? Sly. Nope, don't remember his name.
Who are you talking about?
Turtle.
Oh, I said Benson.
I know it's Murray for the hippo, but I can't remember the turtle's name. Sly. Is it Benson? That's not
Benny.
Benny. Is it Benny? I don't remember. It's gonna kick me in the butt.
Where's Professor Google?
Bentley.
Bentley.
So close. Fuck.
Mike, y'all said Benson. That's right on the show, bro.
God damn it, I was like, I know it could be Benson, but that was the closest thing. Damn. But you go with the Sly remake, and that's not a bad idea because you definitely have a lot of runway if it takes off. Which Ratchet and Clank, they do the remake. I like the remake, but it's not the original story. I just love having a platformer from PlayStation, but that's recent.
Yeah.
But if they remake Sly Cooper, and it makes money, it's like boom. Now you have the runway to do 2, 3, and 4, and remake 4 into a new story that's not based from a developer that doesn't give a fuck about Sly at all. By the way. So, Dante.
Yes, sir.
Could you answer my question with one answer?
Yes.
Well, damn.
I can try my best.
There's a lot of tantalizing options,
I'd say I'm gonna go with Infamous, and I'm gonna definitely go for remake.
And this is the original Infamous.
Yes. So Cole and not Desmond, because I don't like Desmond.
Why?
Apparently, a lot of people don't like Desmond.
He's an asshole.
But you can make him not an asshole.
You can make him not an asshole, but it wouldn't be Desmond. See, that's the problem you get.
If this Infamous actually runs into that same category I was talking about earlier with the third-person shooter type mechanic.
Exactly.
That I don't really like.
Exactly. They've been doing this for a long time.
If they changed that up, I would definitely have liked Infamous more than.
I'm sorry, Martin, but the world disagrees with you. In fact,
I know they do.
PlayStation's been doing this for 10 years.
I know.
People keep wanting it. But
People like getting their ass beat. Yeah.
But yeah, Infamous. But you want a remake of the first Infamous.
I just want what I want. I don't want a sequel, right?
Okay.
But I don't want Cole back either. I want a new game.
Just a complete new brand. Essentially, take the brand and start fresh.
I mean, you can with superhero. I mean, with superpowers. There are hundreds and thousands of those things. It's easy to pull one out of your ass. Mm-hmm. So just
100%. That was That's why it's like when the idea of Infamous was Second Son was launched, it was like, oh shit, we're getting a new story from the Infamous concept, but it's in Seattle, and it's going to be this like much more vibrant world and everything. And then we got the game. Now I played it. And I played it twice to see the other 2 different endings, but
that's the thing.
It's just not. It didn't execute like the first couple games did.
Right, because Desmond's choices didn't feel like they were as impactful. Because when you chose the evil route in particular, because I've literally watched I think it was 2-hour-long video recently
of the whole thing
of all of the Infamous games in Second Son, and he brought up a good point that I'm going to echo here. Desmond's good choices don't really seem like good choices. They just seem like, oh, okay, that makes sense. His evil choices are like, oh, this person here, they're depressed, so let's try not to tick them off. And he'll come up calm, collected, and be like, "Yeah, so let's go blow some shit up." And they're like, "You know what? That's a good idea." And his
American Psycho,
and his fucking good choices. He's more sporadic. He's he comes off kind of like an asshole.
Yeah.
So there was no reason to pick the good choice because overall he seems more like an asshole, and these choices kind of don't really affect the way that characters treat you, especially his brother, because his brother thing is that he hated the metas and he thought his brother getting it was like a sickness. He viewed it as a sickness all the way through.
Like a mutant type deal.
Yeah, so if you go the entire game being evil and his brother, spoiler alerts to a 8-year-old game?
Yeah.
When his brother fucking kicks the bucket, when his brother fucking kicks the bucket and you're evil, his brother still goes, "I'm proud of you." Bro, you just watched me burn down a fucking orphanage and shoot people in the middle of the street. My fit red now.
Wait, you can burn down an orphanage?
No,
but the depth that he goes.
At the end of the game, he just burns down the village that he's from. When you feel evil, he just goes get him the fuck out of here. He just kills everyone. So to still have his brother go, I'm proud of you, doesn't make any fucking sense. The dialogue doesn't change whether you're good or evil in that instance.
Your genocide little ways is just excellent.
Yeah. Like, bro, what are you talking about? You were a cop, my nigga. Like,
that was, it's that, but I do agree. Like, there was way more depth in the original set, and they were way more excited about getting that to the PS4. Like, way more about the spectacle of doing everything destruction-wise and seeing it look so, like, fresh and, you know what I mean, technically impressive. That's what it seemed like the team was much more interested in with Second Son than with Infamous, where they were actually interested in really telling a good story in either direction you went. Which is why I think, either doing a remake for Infamous or just, like you said, when you start just brand new, like, Infamous is such a cool concept. To just say, all right, it's 2023 or whenever, like, let's say they say it's 2024 and they do it. Like, it's 2024.
My phone!
Well, fuck.
Go ahead.
But it's 2024. Let's just, what is our take of Infamous now? Like, it's like X-Men. Like, what is our take of X-Men now? Or any superhero. It's a new take and a new character. Like, you could keep doing this. So it's probably the most flexible out of these sets now.
You can have it be set in a world where the superheroes are like fucking hella glorified right now. Everybody loves superheroes currently.
Yeah.
And how the fuck would that affect somebody with powers who's going to be a superhero? Literally all of his actions would be extremely documented and placed everywhere because we're in the extremely digital age. This is a fucking podcast. Yeah. So you'd have people on podcasts talking about it. He'd be on national television.
You did that in about 20 seconds. Sucker Punch. Where's your game?
Like, you could have that be the same.
It's not difficult. Just give Twilight Drago a writing credit if that's what you're gonna do here. But I'd probably, again, that's a really good one. Just starting fresh and evolving over time. Like, if Second Son is like that was the PS4 iteration, and we get a PS5 iteration, and we get a PSVR iteration. Now PSVR, I don't give a fuck about PSVR, but like, you just have different iterations. Like, that's a cool concept. Sly Cooper, though, again, like, when I love the PlayStation platformers, and I think they're very underutilized. Ratchet and Clank, it's great that they're back, but again, there's like Jak and Daxter. Nothing's been done with it for a decade. Over a decade now, since it's 2013. Yeah, now over a decade. You could. There's just simple things you could do. Like, you could remake the Daxter story from PSP and just see how that does. Float it out there for like $20 and see if people will buy it. Like, that's a short story. You could do something with it smooth. Do something with, obviously, the first Jak and Daxter and all that. But Sly Cooper is fun. You gotta be careful. You gotta be fun. It's a good time, and all three of them are cool, and the cast is cool, and it's not taking itself super seriously, and the character's fun to just listen to and watch. And that's why when there was a Sly Cooper movie in the works, and they kept holding it, and they still haven't released it, and then The Bad Guys comes out, and it's like, oh, you guys wasted an opportunity because The Bad Guys did everything that Sly Cooper would have been.
They also didn't do it because the Ratchet movie didn't do that well.
Which wasn't even in their studio. They gave it to to a cheap animation studio, made them do it, and we got a shit movie out of it. Yeah. So, if they actually invested behind their shit, it would have been fun. But, talking about all their platformers, Sly Cooper is one of them that definitely deserves to sort of jump back in. And I agree I'd line right up with Martin with what you were talking about. Do a remake and just start fresh, and let's see what it looks like on PS5. And but build it up even bigger. So make it even bigger of a story and adapt it to how you would do it today. I mean, we just talked about Last of Us, like how far they adapted that story. Sly Cooper, you don't need to do a lot with Sly Cooper. I mean, it's an animated fucking raccoon. Like, you don't need to do a lot to make that thing fucking cool. Have a good joke writer. Get someone like the Deadpool writer. Just someone cool. Have someone fucking funny, and that's it.
Have them steal something.
Yeah, have them steal something. So it's not extremely difficult, and it's something that will pay off in the long run because, again, a lot of people have seen that same. You're right. That same third person style, and I am really annoyed with the fact that they keep pushing out these same third person fucking shooter angle games. Whether you're holding an axe like Kratos, or if you're whether you're holding an axe like Kratos, or you're in The Last of Us, or you're in Uncharted, or you're in Horizon, it's like that's been done. Can we get back to these different gameplay styles?
I'd like to state before we go on with this conversation, I still like God of War Ragnarok.
No, again, we're not saying they're bad games. But right, that perspective. That's good.
Y'all reactions fucking kill me.
Because I don't want people to think that
he knew planting the fucking shit. Yeah, that was good shit.
It's fine.
No, I hear you.
I am not based on any of these games. I swear I'm not.
No, he's joking. He knows.
But yeah, that third person, like I said before, it's just like
that's what Sony is.
Too many of them.
Yeah, it's kind of it's like we're not. It seems like people aren't noticing it yet, but remember Xbox 360 era. That's Xbox became known as like, oh, you're the gritty shooter platform, and that's all you're known for is just the
first person shooter.
The first person, but like tough shoot, like Gears of War, Halo, like that shit. Like that's all people thought about Xbox with. Even though they were doing a lot more than that.
Yeah.
But their main sellers were these shooters, and they had the exclusive thing with Call of Duty, so it's like, boom, like that's all they were known for, was being the tough guy. Sony hasn't, they're not cornered yet with that same shit. No one seems to notice, but at some point, it's going to be like, hey man, can we get some fresh shit? And that's why Ratchet and Clank was cool, and I'd love to see Sly come back, and like I said, any of the platformers come back. And if you're not going to put them on PlayStation, can we just get them on fucking Switch? Something like just sell them, make some fucking money. Like it's not complicated.
I mean, you put Sly Cooper or Ratchet and Clank or Jack and Daxter on the Switch. That's all she wrote.
Yeah,
those games are made for a handheld.
Yeah,
sadly enough, yeah. Like yeah,
yep,
yeah.
That's what's crazy.
God damn it! I touched my lens.
Glory forever. All right, this has been the Blasting Turbo Ports. It's not really an episode number, but this is the 1st of February. So, guys, as always, if you like this, make sure to like, subscribe, and follow us on whatever podcast service you're on. I have to thank Martin for giving us his information, but not having information to give. And Dante from Twilight Drago, Twilight Drago on YouTube. Of course, find me on @Democracy. Thanks for listening.